Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unplugged Unfiltered. Hi, I'm Brian, alongside Bob. And Bob, this week we have three businesses, three owners who are all struggling with different things. And I decided, hey, why not have Bob just fix them live? So no pressure on that. But we're gonna walk through three different business owners who are all struggling with different things. I'll give you a rundown, a little bit of their business, a little bit of backstory on them, and then you give me how you fix them. So
sell.
Yes.
Just sell the business. Be done. Go work for McDonald's.
There you go. So our
this will be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And
I'll put my wizard hat on.
Yes, before I get started, I do need a drink, and I didn't grab a water bottle, so I'm gonna drink the next one.
Speaking of water bottle, Nutcase has a new.
Yes, Nutcase does have a new.
You were just showing me that
product.
I love their product, but
yeah,
here
this is
do a shameless plug.
Yes, this is an awesome. So the team at Nutcase just sent these to us. This is their new Nutcase powder. You can put it into a water bottle. You can put it into milk or really whatever you want. I guess you can put it into tequila or.
I'm not gonna try that. So I'm sure it'd be an interesting flavor.
It would be, but you can put this into anything. It's got all of the same potassium, the magnesium, the sodium that you get in a Nutcase can. It's actually half the calories. So if you're just putting it in water,
so you can be petite like
yes, it'll help you cut some calories. But again, it has every single thing that is super beneficial, super hydrating, just like everything that's in the can. It's just in a powder form. And you get like 40 in a box. So it's like you get 40 of these in one box, and you can take them anywhere that you can go. I will say it was interesting because my shipment got searched by, I don't know, customs or something. I don't know, packets of powder being shipped. Something about that.
I don't know why they would check that.
I don't know, but they definitely opened my box. And
we got 40 packets of powder by the ounce.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. I haven't had that happen since I traveled with the marking tape and cattle ear tag, because they used to every time they always check my bag.
Help me understand why we have all these cattle ear tags. And by the way, that's how we track equipment in dealerships. So I tell people and rolls of duct tape.
Yeah, rolls of survey tape, and it looks like one really long cylinder. And if you don't know what cattle ear tags are, they have these really pointy, sharp things that, I don't know, could look like shrapnel, I guess.
Pierces the cow's ears. So not every cow has a name, but everyone has an ear tag.
Absolutely. So
exactly.
Anyways, well, let's dive into this. So first, our first person is Marcus.
Okay.
So Marcus is 34. He owns a landscape company. He's had it for 2 years. He's currently grossing $280,000, keeping almost none of it.
That's bad. Okay.
So
he's touching $250,000 a year, but not keeping it.
Yes.
Okay.
So he does not know his margins per job.
All right.
He quotes from his gut feeling.
Best way to always do it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. 4 employees, no schedules. Text them the night before.
Oh, dear God.
He's always the first one on every job.
That's because he texts his people the night before. Okay.
First one on every job, last one to leave. His wife handles the invoicing in a notebook. He currently has 3 clients that are 60 days past due. Has not called them. Has not taken a day off in 8 months. Thinks he needs a manager. Where do you start with Marcus?
Well, first of all, Marcus isn't running a business. He's got a really suck job. Okay. That's not letting him do anything. He's got no systems in place, no leverage, no day off for 8 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not work this job.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to do this. So the first thing I would tell, it's like I tell everybody else, you got to know your numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So he doesn't even know what his numbers are. He's quoting by gut feeling. That's a terrible way to do things. So I would encourage him to take his last 20 jobs, calculate the real margin on each one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say, okay, this is the last 20 jobs I did. And you're going to look at materials, labor hours, drive time. I mean, you did landscape.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't do it by gut.
No.
Okay.
There were some I did just so I could get the job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you do all of those things, do all your costs against what he charged for the job.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to tell you, okay, where you're really at on it. Are you making money or not? My guess is that he's bleeding if not on every job, at least a handful of jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. So every job he's doing them and losing money on them. That'd be my gut.
Yes.
So the only way you could calculate, I'm just doing a gut feeling, like he's got a gut feeling, but I've got 40 years of experience to do a gut feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say again, so that my gut feeling is that he may make a few bucks on some jobs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every job he does, he's losing money on. And there's no way in the world that business can keep going.
Absolutely.
The other one then is he's got money jobs that he's done. Okay. But he's not collecting them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I say, I go back again, we're not a bank in business. And I tell all of my dealers that we don't have open accounts unless it's with the government.
Yes.
They tend to pay, so the other thing he needs to do is go back and collect that money.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got, I think what's it, three customers?
Yep.
Something
You
like
got
that.
3 customers.
And they're 60 days past due. So the first thing I would tell him to do is get on their stupid phone.
Yeah.
And make a call, and I know it's uncomfortable sometimes to do it, but he's got cash that's literally sitting on the table.
Yeah.
Right. He's got all the work done. He's paid all of his people. Everything is done there, paid his gas bill. Everything is done.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there, and just make a simple call and saying, hey, Brian, Bob here. I know 60 days ago we did this job for you, and I was just checking on that invoice. Any idea when I can expect it? You don't have to go like, hey, look, you're a loser. You're a thief. I'll never do it again. I probably want to do work for him again. So just do a nice phone call. Say, hey, Bob or Brian, I'm just checking on the invoice that we sent you for this. It's been about 60 days now, and I just wondered when I could expect that. Then shut up. Okay. And let him give you a time on it and just listen to that. So that would be that part. I would get that out of the way there. The next one is, dear Lord, I cannot believe that he's texting people his workers the night before on the job. So my sense is he doesn't have a schedule.
Yeah. That would be, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's in his head. Says, okay, tomorrow I know I got to do this and this. So I better call my guys tonight. So he's got to get the schedule out of his head. Yeah. Okay. So again, he's got to get the schedule out of his head. It makes no sense to text your people. He becomes the bottleneck in everything he's doing. Yeah, it's not his employees. It's him. He's the bottleneck. So he's got to get the schedule out of his head. I don't care if he uses, Brian, I don't care. A lot of our dealers use whiteboards to track their service jobs. They shouldn't, because they have software to do it, but I got to still have them a lot. Oh, Bob, it's the old fashioned way. I don't care. Get a freaking whiteboard. Yeah. Okay. Put it on there and get everything laid out. Plan Monday through Friday. You're going to have some flex time in there, especially as a younger landscaper, but that would fix everything. And so when his guys leave at night, they can look at the board and say, okay, at 8:00 tomorrow morning, we're going to be over at Brian Clements' place and we're going to build a deck, or I don't care what it's going to be. But that way his people, when they leave at night, are not waiting for a text. They know the next day, or they look at it and they say, our first job doesn't start till 10:00. Yeah. Okay. So, and I know at 9:30, I need to be here to get ready to go for the next job. So that would be it. The other thing is he's wanting to hire a manager. Yeah. Okay. Well, he wants to hire a manager because he doesn't want to deal with the day-to-day, doesn't want to deal with the pain of his employees and calling customers and stuff like that. He does not need a manager. Number one, he can't afford a manager. Absolutely. Okay. Because a manager for him is going to be a $60,000 or $70,000 cost. Yeah. If I were him, what he needs really is a foreman. Yeah. Okay. So if he hires a manager, he's doing it basically to avoid the uncomfortable stuff that you have to do as an owner. Yeah. Okay. And still going to have to deal with it. Yeah, okay? Absolutely. He's just got to have a person between him and that phone call that he has to make. So if I were him, I'd hire a foreman. It's like you and I all the time in our shops. We sometimes you don't need a service manager. You need a shop foreman. Yeah. Till you get up to this many number of technicians, you really can't afford a manager, but you can't afford a shop foreman. So it'd be the same in this. I'd say, hey, you need to hire a foreman, and you don't need really to hire one. You probably have somebody on your team already that you're texting. Yeah. Okay, that say, hey, Brian, you're on my team. You've been the longest guy here. What I want to do is turn you into a foreman of this crew. Yeah. So then you're responsible for making sure that they're coming in and stuff like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an extra $3 per hour. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I could give my foreman a raise of, let's say, $3 an hour, or 2,000 hours a year. Maybe that's assuming that they're working the whole year. But from that standpoint, so instead of spending $60,000 on a manager, I could probably spend $7,000 or $8,000 more in payroll. Yeah. And have me a shop or a foreman. Yeah. To do that from that standpoint there. So that's a piece of it there. And then, can't take a day off. It's not an option. If he had these other things in place, he really needs to be able to take a day off. Yeah. There's zero reason why, if I had a team of people and a foreman, I couldn't take a Saturday off. Yeah. And I think, again, that's probably more his choice. Yeah. and it's just an option that he's not doing there. So those are the things I would do there. The other thing is I'd get his wife to stop doing invoicing and stuff in a notebook.
Yeah.
Dear God, there's so much cheap software out there, accounting software out there,
absolutely.
You can get. So that would be our problem there. I think, again, he doesn't really have a landscaping problem.
Yeah.
What he's got, again, is a knowledge problem. He doesn't know how much he's making. He doesn't know a schedule. It's all on his head and stuff like that. So to me, those are the things that he should work on. He's got a good business. I mean, he's doing, $280,000 a year gross revenue, with a few people. So, he just needs to fix a few things on it, and then he could grow this thing on out.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, and one of what you mentioned is getting your invoicing off of paper.
Yes.
Because it not only does it help you become more organized, but it gives you those reports. It gives you, what is my margin? How much am I spending on my materials? How much? Then you can actually really start bidding out your stuff, saying, okay, my material costs are this. I need to make X amount of % on this. Plus, then I have this many people. I'm going to bill it for 10 hours if it was one person. And then you bring in 4 people. You can do it in 2.5 hours, right? The beauty of flat rating.
Absolutely.
But you can't do that. You can't do anything until you can monitor the numbers. And it really all comes down to a process. I mean, you have to have a process for everything.
Everything is a process. I mean, we've talked about that for, 70 episodes now. So everything in a business, I don't care what kind of business it is, everything has to have a process to it, because the process makes it repeatable, and you make money when you can make something repeatable. If every time you do something, it's a one-off, you just can't make money. If every job he does is a custom job, and you've been in landscaping, there is not many custom jobs.
Yeah. And the ones that are,
you make a lot of money. Okay, you make a lot of money on them. So
so
there's not many custom jobs out there. Pretty much everything falls into some sort of category. So that's what I do. And I'd also tell Marcus he needs to go to the Equip Expo this fall. And spend time with the landscaping side of that expo, because there's so many landscapers out there, so many tools out there that he could get access to.
Absolutely.
That would turn him into he would make a ton of money. He needs to get somebody to coach and direct him that's a landscaper that's maybe not in his area. But I would tell people, go to that Equip Expo. If you're a landscaper and you're not going to Equip in the fall, you're foolish.
Well, one of the other things that I learned, especially when I was in landscaping, is if you go to your local landscape supply place,
absolutely,
almost all of them are going to be more than happy to give you advice, and they've been in it for a long time. And they've seen a lot of landscape companies come and go, but that's how they make their money, is selling product to you. So I found, and we talk about it, it's if you're an entrepreneur, find another entrepreneur and they will help you. Even, I mean, that was something I saw all the time when I was a landscaper, is I would go to other landscapers in my area, or they would come to me and say, hey, I've got this question. There was enough business for all of us. It's one of those, okay, perfect. Well, let me, because for me, helping those landscapers build their brand, their reputation, and create a higher dollar value.
Exactly.
Right. It gave us all the ability to say, listen, we're all playing on a very high level. Our area's cost to do this is more expensive because, and there's going to be some guys who come in and lowball it, but
that's right.
As soon as their retaining wall falls down, we come back in, we fix it.
I was trying to think of, because you bought all of your supplies from
Homestead,
and there was a gentleman there that had been in the business. Elwood, and Elwood gave you a lot of advice when you were starting out. So it's a great place because he wanted you to pay your bills.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was the thing, is they gave me so much advice when I was first starting out. Him and Sally, who owned it. They would help walk me through things, truly help me understand my margins,
they want you to do well.
Oh yeah, they want you to make more money, because
do more jobs, do more jobs, so we can sell you more products.
Exactly.
So, I think that's a great idea.
But it goes back to that, is as an entrepreneur, find another entrepreneur and ask them questions. There's not an entrepreneur out there who's going to be like, no, I'm not going to talk to you about this. And even your competitors, especially in the lawn care business, the competitor world, they all want everyone to play on a even. I mean, say, hey, I charge $35 a yard. Let's all charge $35 bucks a yard. And You know,
it is called price fixing.
Well,
and there's a law against that.
I don't know, but you're talking to like maybe three guys out of the 700.
I can't tell dealers to do
No.
that. Okay, so
Yeah,
dealers would go to prison.
Yeah,
For collusion. But anyway, but they all do that. I mean, I go back again. I mean, who are we kidding? They all kind of know where everybody's at.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody, again, your goal always in business with working with your competitors.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's tons of business out there for everybody, but you want to keep your pricing up. That's how you make money. There's always going to be somebody coming in and going out, like you said, Brian, that's going to be lower, but their quality of work doesn't exist and stuff like this. And you'll end up going back and they'll pay you a higher rate to come back in and fix the retaining wall that fell over on the first range.
Well, and it was really crazy. I mean, I would say I got a substantial amount of leads from my competitors, and my competitors got a substantial amount of leads because I would look at a job and say, hey, this is a job that's not for me.
Exactly.
But I know a guy, you know, that this fits his perfectly. And we did a lot of high risk tree removals and stuff, where a lot of the other landscape companies, they were like, I know I'm not climbing up in that tree.
I'm not cutting that tree and cutting it down.
And so we would
over
get
the power line of the house.
Yeah,
no, that's yours, Brian. Yeah, take that one.
So I had a gentleman named Jared Cross, and he was a great competitor of mine. I mean, and him and I got along really, really well. But he would call, hey, I got a tree job for you. Talk to the customer. They're super interested. Come out and you know, I was like, perfect. I'll do it. And the same thing is he had at times he had way bigger equipment than me.
Yeah.
And I had one big municipality that had reached out, and they wanted this 40-acre park mowed one time. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to go buy the equipment. And so I called Jared. I said, hey, Jared, these guys want to do it. And then Jared ended up giving me a 10% finder's fee.
Sure.
I always, on my trees, always gave him a 10% finder's fee. But find other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your competitors are not your enemies.
No, they're not.
Not at all. Not at all.
So, okay, our next one is Diane.
Okay.
Diane is 47. She owns a boutique salon. She's been in it for 7 years. Currently, she has 6 stylists. She is booked out 3 weeks. 2 of her stylists are half empty. No onboarding process. Every stylist does it different. Not a retail sales process. Product sits on the shelf. No rebooking system. Looks like they lose 30% of their first-time visitors.
Holy smokes.
Just hired a front desk person, has not trained her on anything.
Okay, that's perfect. That's
profitable, but has not given herself a raise in 3 years.
So she's not profitable.
Yep. Scared to look at the real numbers, and thinks her problem is marketing.
Well, Diane, your problem isn't marketing. Okay, so let's just get that off. Get that off the table. So she isn't struggling.
Yeah.
She's plateaued.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the thing. So she's feeling like she's struggling, but she's plateaued, and there's leaks.
Yeah.
Like I say, and the problem is not marketing, because you're already telling me you're booked. You're 3 weeks booked out.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need more people.
Yeah.
So it's not a marketing issue. And again, I think this happens in a lot of times in businesses, especially businesses that kind of plateau. We've grown, things are going good here. We've got all this, but I'm not making any money now.
Yeah.
It's because you got these little leaks that are coming out. So the first thing is got to fix the leaks. So again, it's not a marketing problem. She's got a capacity problem. So she's got 2 people there that have chairs, and they're only keeping those chairs full half the time.
Absolutely.
Okay. So while she's booked 3 weeks out, she's got capacity.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So the first thing she has to do is redistribute the bookings to get these other people in over there.
Yeah.
And she's going to say, yeah, but Bob, they come in and ask for me. Well, everybody comes in and asks for me, or Brian, everybody comes in and asks for you. Part of your job, again, is to say, hey, I'd love to get you in, but let me introduce you to Sally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sally's great. Everybody loves her. Let me get you going with her.
Yeah.
Right. And so she's got to do is she's got to understand that she's got capacity.
Yeah.
Right. She's 3 weeks booked out. Okay. And what she's got to do is she's started moving some of that capacity to the 2 stylists that have capacity to do it. The other piece is that her rebooking, man, to lose 30% of all your first-time customers, unless you really suck as a stylist.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I'll never go back there again.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And what's happening is, again, she's got somebody that comes in the first time, and then she takes their money and lets them walk out the door. And what she should be doing the moment they pay is say, let's go ahead and get you on the calendar for your next cut.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know you like to do it about every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks. So what's Thursday of next month, this date look for you? And 90% of the people say, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get me booked for that. So again, the rebooking is the solution to that.
Yeah.
And not waiting for them to call in. There's zero reason, especially if you're doing something that needs to be done, like, pedicures, manicures, stuff like this. I mean, everything grows at about, in 4 weeks, most everything needs to be redone again.
Absolutely.
Your body's, I don't know, halfway normal.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go ahead right at that moment and say, is this a good day for you? Is this a good time for you? Let me look at our calendar. Let me go ahead and put you down on that.
Yeah.
And then the other piece on that, because I know sometimes these small businesses don't do it, make sure you got their cell phone number, set up a texting system.
Yeah.
Because every place that I do business with, especially on a regular basis, I get a text, right, that says, hey, don't forget your appointment's here.
Yep.
Click C, right, to confirm, and then do that. So that would be what I would do from that standpoint. I mean, that's crazy to lose 30% of your first time business, because that's where you're spending your marketing.
Absolutely.
Okay. So all the marketing money you spent, 30% of it, you're just throwing away at the end of it. Onboarding then. So, she's got 6 stylists, and they're all doing things probably a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she has to do is to come up with a consistent way that everything is handled. So I'm going to go back to the business you and I know well, but when you think about a dealership and a service department, you and I work with dealers so that every time a piece of equipment comes in, it's handled every way, exactly the same way, every time. There is no variations to it. Right.
Yeah.
So this is like a customer coming in, and it doesn't make any difference who's working on it. We have a onboarding, a check-in process that we never deviate from.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the other things there. She's got different things that she's doing. Probably the client experience is different.
Yeah.
And so that may be part of the rebooking problem. Maybe I did Sally and didn't really like Sally.
Yeah.
So again, having that conversation there, but I think that's the piece of it again. Build a retail process, because if she's in a salon, you've got women in there who are in there because they want to look good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of product that she has, but she should have a lot of product in there.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole thing that I don't know if she's doing anything with the retail. It doesn't sound like she is.
Yeah.
But again, I would have retail product in there because there's tons of margins on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So she got great margin product there. So I do that. The challenge is teaching your people who are stylists how to make recommendations and sell their retail product.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look, you like your hair this way. Let me show you this. I'm going to get this product because this is what we use on your hair.
Yeah.
You can buy this 8 ounces of this stuff for $97.
Absolutely.
And you can do the same thing and do that. So, working with your people, and again, getting them up to that point where they can do the rebooking, and also then sell the product. And then she's got an onboarding issue, a training issue from that standpoint that she's got to deal with.
Well, and I think that when it comes to that product, is using that product, showing that product. I mean, we do it in chainsaws. If a unit comes in, we always tell the dealers or recommend to the dealers, if a unit comes in and it needs a carburetor, right, send it out with true fuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Premixed, right?
Absolutely.
And so people go, oh, well, you added $13 to my ticket. You don't have to add it to the actual ticket for the salon side.
Right.
But on the thing, I say, well, yeah, we do that to make sure, guarantee that we've got good fuel in there. It's going to stabilize really well. It helps us make sure that there's no part failure because we know we've got great fuel.
Exactly.
And then once that customer actually uses that, they go, oh man, this is so much easier. And I only use probably 1 can of this a year.
Yeah,
I don't really need. And now you've got a reoccurring customer who's coming back in. And I think also from the stylist side is, they don't have a marketing problem, but I think that they have the opportunity to market at a higher level for no expense. Market your stylist. Say, hey, this is stylist A, right? She is our best. She does the best color. She does the best this.
Exactly.
Tell people, so when people come in and they go, oh, I always go to Stacy, right? Well, I just saw on Facebook that she actually, is their go-to hair color person. Okay, I'm going to book with them. But if you don't market your people, how are they going to know? They just go, oh, well, everyone can do the exact same thing.
Which is not true.
No, everybody's got specialties in the reality of it.
Exactly.
But so we talked about building that process of retail and pushing, upselling, right? I mean, that's the reality is you got to upsell and cross-sell a little bit of your stuff. But what is else like a retail process? I mean, we talked about this with on the landscape side, right? He didn't even have any computerization to say, okay, what am I selling? How much am I selling? Again, to your point, is looking at those customers who purchase something and saying, hey, we know typically this bottle lasts 3 months. Shoot them a text message. Hey, notice it's been about 3 months since you last bought this product. Do you want us to, next time that you come in, have it ready
for you and packaged,
you know, and then have it in a nice gift bag.
Exactly.
Throw a couple extra samples of maybe some other products that complement that. I think there's a lot of opportunity there that she can.
There is, you know, I think again, her mindset is we're 3 weeks behind, right? Booked ahead. I got 2 stylists here. I mean, I think again, the issue we got again is she is not directing people to the right people and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then one of the other things that she talked about is, you know, she has not paid herself or taken a raise in 3 years.
Right.
I mean, so what does that look like? I mean, what would your advice be on, you know, taking a raise?
Well, again, you know, you should be taking 10% of the net out every year, not as your own money, but just from a profitability standpoint. So I would say, again, if you're not doing it, you got 2 stylists there. Number one, you can just get more work through.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that challenge is getting more work into your shop or into your salon and things like that. So again, I think it's silly for people to say, well, I can't take a raise, but my business is doing well. Then your business is not doing well.
Yeah.
You know, I'd raise my rates a little bit. I would do some things like that to have that happen. I, again, was talking to a dealership down in the Dallas area that works on construction equipment, and he's $125 an hour. And as I was talking to Shaw, we were talking about that, and I go, you're way too low. And he was like, well, gosh, Bob, if I raise it up, people will stop doing business with me. So I said, well, right now in the Dallas area for construction equipment, it's $175 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, would you be okay going to 135?
Yeah.
Because his thing was I'm doing all this, but I'm not making a lot of money. Well, you know, now you're making an extra $10 an hour yourself personally on every hour that's produced in your shop with 3 technicians. So again, it's just some of it you got to get out of your own head and say, well, if I do that, then people are not going to do business with me. And I told him, I said, you're the one in the market that everybody hates because you're lower than everybody else. Let's get it up there and make it happen.
Yeah. Well, and I think that she also needs to focus on, because, you know, she hired a front counter person, right? She hired a front desk help. She hasn't taken the time to train, probably because she's booked 3 weeks out.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, what she needs to do is she needs to start saying, hey, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I cut hair. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I train my front staff.
Stylist. Yep.
I build out my processes, right? And then I focus on building the business.
Exactly.
So work on the business, not in it, right? We say that all the time. But I think that comes back down to, just like it was with Dwayne on the landscape side, is you have to force yourself to step away from the physical labor of it at times, because being booked out 3 weeks, as awesome as that sounds, you cannot get what is done for what needs to be actually happen on the business side of, you know, the back end side.
I mean, so, you know, so she's hired a new front person, but she's not trained that person. So she might as well not hire. All this person is going to do is answer the phone, and AI can do that.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, you're exactly right. She needs to set aside time for training.
Yeah.
From that perspective. And again, teaching the person what to do and how to say and things like that. So I think, again, a good business, but she's focused on the fact I need more marketing. Marketing's not the problem.
Yeah.
Right. She's already got 30% of all of her new customers not coming back in because she's not trying to go ahead and get them signed up for that standpoint.
Absolutely.
So several things there to do, but again, none of them are insurmountable.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, you said, you know, it's Diane's business isn't failing, it's leaking. She doesn't need more customers. She needs to keep the ones that she already has, use the chairs that she already has.
Exactly.
Actually look at the numbers. I mean, when she says that I'm tired, you know, I don't want to actually look at the real numbers. You have to look at the real numbers, or you have to have someone who will look at it, whether it's a CPA, bookkeeper, whoever it happens to be.
Well, if you're an owner and you don't like numbers, stop business.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I tell people every business is all about numbers, and everything in a business can be figured out with a math calculation.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like with Mark, you know, the first one there, it's just, you know, you don't even know what your costs and stuff are. So it's the same thing with here. I said, you know, you may not like numbers, but numbers are the essence of everything you are.
Absolutely.
And you got to learn to like them. You may never love to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Right. But I like dollars.
Absolutely.
I can count those and stuff like that. So I think, again, that's the other thing is you got to learn got to learn the numbers and understand that your numbers always tell you the story.
Yeah. Well, and even if you use a simple, I mean, QuickBooks is a great starting accounting thing.
It's
and
too damned expensive anymore. I will tell you that.
Yeah, it is. But if you have a CPA work with you and say, help me get this set up so everything's categorized properly. Once you get it in there, there are so many reports where you don't have to go through every single number. You can run a report and say, okay, where am I at? How much am I profiting off of each stylist? How much am I profiting off of each product? How much upsell are my stylists doing? And then you can start to actually evaluate the business instead of going, well, we're 3 weeks booked out, but 2 of my stylist chairs sits empty half the time. Why is this happening? Look at the numbers. You got to build it by the numbers.
It's kind of like, again, with the landscaping side, if you're using like QuickBooks as an example, QuickBooks is a great program. Don't get me wrong. They just got so, I think, out of line with their prices.
Yeah, absolutely.
From what they do. But even to that point, even with the landscaping side, or the same thing with the salon side, as you're putting your numbers in, if you put everything in the right category, so like a materials category, and each job that he does, the material costs go in there. It'll automatically tell you what you made on the job, what your percentages are. Stuff
absolutely.
Like that. So I'm with you. The software is the big solution to the problem there.
Yeah, having the right software, and then again, you've got to look at the numbers.
Exactly.
Because if you don't know the numbers, you don't know anything.
No.
Right. I can.
If you go to the bank and go, how your numbers going? Like, I don't know. I don't like numbers.
I don't. I haven't actually looked at those.
Yeah, we're not really interested in giving you a line of credit. So you should probably learn to like numbers.
Absolutely. So, okay. And our last one is Ray.
Okay.
Ray is 58 years old, owns an HVAC company.
Okay.
He's had it for 19 years, 11 employees, 2.1 million a year.
Nice.
By every measure, he is successful.
Okay.
Cannot take a vacation.
Okay.
He's tried twice.
His measure of success has gone away.
He's tried twice. Both times came back early.
There you go.
Every decision runs through Ray. The dispatchers call for approval on everything.
Okay.
No consistent service processes. Okay. Customer experience depends on who shows up.
Oh, Lord.
Has a folder on his desktop called Systems.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, at least he's got a systems folder.
One document in it, dated 2021, never finished.
Perfect.
Biggest fear is if he gets sick, the business collapses in 90 days. And he's probably right. He thinks he needs to hire a general manager. Where do you start with Ray?
Well, again, so with Ray, hiring, so his first instinct, and this is I need to hire a manager. Okay. No, you don't need to hire a manager. If you hire a manager right now, all you're going to do is just simply take this chaos that you've got and you're just going to hand it to somebody brand new. And then they're going to come back to you and say, hey, Brian, I got a question. Hey, Brian, I got a question. Okay. So again, so they're going to still call you for everything. So the first thing you got to do, I would say again, is, I don't know, finish your systems folder. Okay. Because you are the process, right? Everything that happens in the dealership is in your brain. So you are the process. Therefore, if you're the process, you can never leave because nobody can do it without the process. And so he's kind of created his own situation there. So the first thing I do is say, go back through and finish your systems folder. You need a system for service calls. You need a system for dispatching. You need a system for billing. All of that stuff needs to come out of your brain. Okay. And go into a systems folder so that when, let's say we start with dispatch. So dispatch is trying to figure out when a customer says, well, I need this and this and this, how much do you think that's going to be? And dispatch is going, hell, I don't know. Let me get with Ray. Okay. Well, you can't tell me in the HVAC world or any other world that 80% of the jobs are standard jobs. Okay. Ray's got him in his brain. Okay. So what Ray's got to do again is to work with the dispatcher and say, okay, here's the top 20 jobs that people are going to call in on. Okay. And these 20 jobs here are going to cover, right, 80% of everything that's ever going to come on you for dispatch. My water heater's leaking. How much to replace it? Well, gosh, is it electric or gas? It's gas. About how big is it? I don't know. When you stand next to it, it's about your size. It's about my size. Okay. That's about a 40-gallon or a 50-gallon water. So those are things that Ray needs to put in a document to teach the dispatcher. So when they call in, ask these questions. It's kind of like what we do with service writers. When somebody calls in and says, my equipment doesn't run, we go, well, you mean it doesn't run or doesn't start?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it starts.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't stay running.
Yeah.
Like, well, when you say it doesn't stay running, does it just start and run for a second and stop? Oh, no, it'll run for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then stop. Okay, well, now we know it's not a fuel problem.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
an air problem. Okay, we've got an electrical component problem that once it gets hot, an ignition coil, as you and I both know what we're talking about here, that immediately. So all of a sudden, you know, or on the same token, it says, no, it starts for just a second, then it stops.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I probably got a fuel problem.
Yep.
Okay, so again, so just asking a couple of questions, and that's part of what Ray has to do is for that dispatcher say, these are the questions to ask. I've got a water heater problem. Ask these questions.
Yeah.
I've got a furnace problem. Ask these questions.
Yep.
I've got an air conditioner problem. Ask these questions.
Absolutely.
I smell sewer in my house.
Yeah.
Ask these questions.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the part of that system that he has to have for the dispatcher, because that's going to solve 80% of, hey, Ray, I need you to answer this question for me. So that's the same thing. The other thing is, if you're going to have service people, and especially people going into people's homes and businesses, it shouldn't matter who you send in. The process should always exactly every time be the same.
Absolutely.
It should matter not who goes in there. So again, each guy creates his own system. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Bill has his way of doing it. I don't wear booties when I go into a house. I take my shoes and socks off. I walk in barefoot. That's probably not a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So again, so what Ray's got to do is take that stupid systems folder with the one document that wasn't finished in 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's got to go through and do that. And this is a weekend project. Okay. I'm just saying, I mean, all Ray's got to do is ask himself some questions.
Yeah.
Right. And in a weekend, he could have most all of his systems in place.
Oh, absolutely.
And put in place with that. So that's the thing. The other piece then is you got a dispatcher, and he's probably got the dispatcher to a point says, well, you ask me before you give him that information.
Yeah.
Because at one time somebody did something and it cost him a little bit of money because he didn't have a process.
Absolutely.
Or a system, and the dispatcher who he ended up probably firing.
Yeah.
Because they were so bad, because they would quote jobs without asking him.
Yeah.
Right. So they stopped quoting anything. And so what he's got to do is give the dispatcher then the authority to say, hey, with these 20 jobs that cover 80% of everything, I don't want you to call me.
Yeah.
I don't want you to ask me. These are good numbers. You ask these questions and it'll point you right to what it should be.
Absolutely.
From that standpoint. So that's the other thing. And again, you know, you got to give your people the authority to make decisions, because if you don't, what's the purpose of having there?
Yeah.
Right? You might as well be the dispatcher.
Absolutely.
Because everything that happens goes through you. And you're never going to be able to grow your company, because if you're the owner and the dispatcher and the number one service tech, go back again, it's never going to grow from that standpoint. So,
well, and I think the other thing too, and we talked about this, you know, on the foreman side is find your top technician and make them the foreman, right? If someone else has a issue, if they run into an issue, have your best tech out there, say, okay, call Bill, right? Bill will, you know, he'll answer. If he can't answer it, then you can get me involved.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Is use your people out there and say, hey, Bill, I'm going to want you to become a foreman. You've got 11 employees, right? Maybe you have 2 foremen, and say, hey, you know, you guys are the foreman of this crew, and you're the foreman of this crew. If they have questions, they call you first. If you guys don't know the answer, then give me a call.
Exactly.
Right. But then that relieves so much. It gives them the ability to, again, take ownership of their crews, and it relieves a lot of stress, I think. But you got to have everything documented. Right.
Well, and again, and to your point again, so each foreman's still going to be a tech.
Yeah.
Okay. But maybe I pay him an extra $4 or $5 an hour to be the foreman, but they're still out there as a service tech doing it. And if somebody runs into a problem, they can call them while they're on the job and doing it. So, but it's still cheaper than hiring a general manager.
Oh,
because if you hire a general manager in this situation, you got chaos. There's no general manager that's going to be able to fix it. So you got to get it fixed first. The other thing I would say with service processes, let's say, take your best service tech.
Yeah.
Okay. And follow them on one service call and document everything they do.
Absolutely.
Say, okay, this is Brian. Brian's our best tech. Every time that he's done with the customer, they give us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Okay. Bob gets 1-star reviews. Brian gets 5s.
Yeah.
So Bob, here's what Brian does.
Yeah.
Here's how he does it. Here's how he talks to the customer and stuff like that. Just go out on one call with him, document everything he does, and let him build your process with that customer. So again, it doesn't have to be difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. You just have to document it as a part of it.
Absolutely.
And then, dear God, take a vacation.
Yeah.
Okay, use it as a test.
Absolutely.
Okay, so say, okay, I'm going to take a week off. I got the things in place here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a week off. I'm available, but I
Yeah.
don't really want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you guys need it and somebody's bleeding and there's a bone through the arm, call 911. I can't fix it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and then do it as a test, right? And test your system. But there's zero reason. If you got a company that's doing the kind of business that Ray is doing with this, he's got, like you said, 11 service techs out there. He's got all this stuff going on. There's zero reason why he can't fix this.
Absolutely.
Thing. And again, it's like all three of them. You know, there's nothing big. I mean, there's not this huge glaring issue.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times people are like, oh my God, you know, it's like, oh my, this is just a series of small little things that you've got to do. And in almost all businesses, if you just do these small pieces, these little pieces incrementally, it'll all come together.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's not all falling apart. You think it's falling apart.
Yeah.
But again, as I look at it, it's like, yeah, this is nothing. We're not talking rocket science here. You already got the business going. All you got to do now is make it a business and not a job.
Absolutely.
You know, and and all three of these is their business is really just a job.
Because of a lack of process.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
And that's what it comes down to. And
exactly.
We talk about it all the time, but it's a lack of processes. If you can build the right processes that manage your people, then you manage the process and not the people. And it gives you the ability to grow, work on your business. And maybe let's take Diane. Maybe she doesn't want to do the paperwork side of it. Maybe that's not something, and she just loves cutting hair. Okay. Well, then find and train the right person, be willing to put up the money for it, for someone who can come in as your general manager, who can focus on that. Doesn't mean that you have to step away, because Ray could love doing HVAC, and
very well,
maybe on his vacation, he wants to, instead of working on the business, he wants to actually go out in the field and fix some HVAC systems.
It's his business. He gets to do whatever he wants to do with it.
But finding the right people and building the right processes to support that's the whole goal. That's the whole name of the game, is find the people to support it, so it becomes something you enjoy, not something you have to do.
And I've done that before. Matter of fact, I had a dealer years ago that I was working with, and we were really struggling with the service department. And he said, I wish I could just go back and run the shop myself. And I go, well, why don't you?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I'm the owner. And I go, so you own the business. You can do anything in the business you want.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I feel like if I was back there, I love the shop. I mean, I started my business as a service tech. I love the shop. And I said, then let's hire a good parts manager.
Yeah.
Let's hire somebody that's in sales. But I said, as an owner, why do you think you couldn't be back in the shop as a service manager? People love you back there. And he did that. And he's a happy man.
Yeah.
It's where he wants to be. He still runs the business.
Yeah.
Right. But his job in the business is that service manager job as well as a business owner. And he loves it. And it was something I was going, you own the business. You can do any damn thing in the business.
Well, and that's the thing. If you build the processes and you have the right people, right, you can do whatever you want in the business, because you're not constantly putting out fires. Right.
Right. And it's like you said, you know, you build the processes manage the people. Your job then is to coach your people to the process.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think, again, you don't manage people, you coach people, you manage processes.
Yeah.
And I think, again, in all these situations, there's process issues that have to be laid out and fixed up once those are in place. And again, I've had people say, well, what if they don't follow that process? Well, then have them leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be like if you're a football coach and you got a player that consistently doesn't want to run the play that you put out there, then you don't go, well, let's just Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. No, Bob's not on our team anymore. We have a play. This is how we run the play.
Absolutely.
You know, and you're never in the right spot when Mahomes throws the ball.
Yeah.
So since we need you to catch the ball and you're not in the right spot, I'll find somebody that can be in the right
absolutely.
spot.
Well, and it's one of those, you either change the people or you change the people.
Change the people. It's that simple.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
With that, we were going to let you guys all go for the week, but we appreciate it. Again, if any of these businesses resonated with you, if you felt like Bob was talking to you when it came to your business, we'd love to hear about that. Let us know. And then if you're struggling with something in your business that we didn't cover this week, send us a message, comment on one of our posts, and let us know what you're struggling with. And then Bob and I will have a conversation about it and see if we can come up with some solutions to fix your business as well. But with that, we appreciate everybody, and we will catch everyone here next week, next Wednesday on Unplugged Unfiltered. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show them this new power of mine. When words is where we landed, we're 2 rows, the next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Gracie Grove will soon be upon